James from F1 Chronicle. We joined today by a very exciting talent, Rowan Campbell-Pilling. Most important question of the day. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. I'm living the dream, as they say. Yeah, I'm really enjoying life at the moment. We're on a bit of a roll in F4. I'm putting an awful lot of hard work in off the track, and it's showing. So yeah, really well. How are you, James?
I'm great, and that's fantastic. Yeah, so it's always good to see someone young enjoying life, especially with the pressures of what you've got going on. I mean, there's not many 17 turning 18-year-olds that's got quite a hectic schedule as you, I don't suppose.
I mean, I'd rather be busy than have nothing on. I think same as anyone, I personally quite like filling my time with an awful lot of productive stuff. I mean, I'm literally just in the pit lane suite at Donington as we speak, trying to get out the cafe out of some noise. So yeah, hectic, but I've got racing to juggle, training to juggle, and then schoolwork as well. So
yeah, a bit of a home from home feel there.
Exactly. It's very it's hectic, but I'd rather have it busy than nothing on at all.
Yeah, fantastic. So obviously, as you say, very successful four seasons so far this year. Currently third in the Rookie Cup and currently 10th in the overall. How do you feel the season's been for you?
It's been really, really positive. Lots and lots of positives for me. It's been a very, very steep learning curve this year. Learned an awful lot. Had to learn some lessons the hard way, but as long as I learn from them and don't make the same mistake twice, then that's a positive in my opinion. Yeah, lots. I think the overall consensus of the season for me is positive. I've learned an awful lot. I've developed a lot as a person, as a driver. I've improved pretty much all fronts of being a motorsport driver, really. So yeah, really happy with how it's gone. The on-track results have just been coming and coming and coming. The pace is there. We've had 2 front row starts now, 2 front row qualifying. So in the last two rounds, and split the 2 championship contenders on the grid for starting. The hardest part's getting it off the line because they've got 50, 100 more starts maybe than me in these Formula 4 cars. So yeah, it's all a steep learning curve, like I said, and the pace is there, so we are competing right at the front with the best, and it is hard and it's brutal, and the mistakes that I do make show more than if you're slightly further down. So it shows that the work we're putting in behind the scenes is working, but also, yeah, mistakes aren't mistakes until you make them twice, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it, isn't it? As you say, you had several podiums this year. You're back at Donington now. You recently had 2 first-place finishes at Donington. So tell us a little bit about that feeling. What was it like to get the first time you stepped on that top step and claimed first place? How did that feel for you?
In the Rookie Cup, it's really good. It shows, like I said, the work we've been putting in behind the scenes is paying off. I mean, we didn't do any of the Winter Championships, so my first genuine F4 race was the first round of this year, whereas some of the other rookies, had done the UAE stuff or Spanish stuff over the winter, which almost put us on the back foot, but I think we did really well to stick with them at round 1, and throughout this year we've progressed on a constant upwards trajectory. I think that's trajectory. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, it's been mega positive so far.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great to hear. So let's go back a little bit further in time then. We haven't got far to go there. As I said, you're a very young lad, but how did your journey into motorsport begin?
So I started on 2 wheels, believe it or not, when I was really, really small. Probably 2 or 3 years old, riding bikes on electric trials bikes, so going over big obstacles and that sort of thing. Was European champion on those when I was really young. Long time ago now, I say that, only probably 11, 12 years, something like that. And then I made the switch. I had to go in a kart when I was probably 4 or 5. Fell in love with 4 wheels and never really looked back since. I mean, I went through, did a bit of Bambino, did a bit of cadet, and then we went hell for leather at senior and junior and senior, which winning multiple titles in both, and senior winning on both my debut in senior Daniel Ricciardo series and senior X30 as well. So Miami X30, which came off a really, really strong karting career, and had a really good debut in F4 as well. And yeah, this season's just going better and better.
That's great. But was F1 a big thing for you growing up? Was you much of a watcher, or was that something you sort of developed later in time?
I think I've always been a bit of an F1 fanboy, to be honest. Growing up watching the likes of Verstappen coming in and absolutely dominating now, although at the moment it's not so much. I'm sure he's striving to get back to the top. Hamilton being so dominant, the Rosberg Hamilton era, probably, when was that? 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
Which, just athletes at the peak of their performance, the peak of their game, and, they're in the best cars competing against each other is, something that I aspire to do something that I aspire to do and win. There you go. That's what I was looking for. The words will come out eventually.
Yeah, sure. Hugely exciting. I think that show in recent years, the fan base is just skyrocketing. It's getting bigger and bigger. So, as you say, very successful karting career. What have you found is the biggest sort of difference, contradiction maybe between karting and single-seater racing?
They are worlds apart. Argenti have done an incredible job of, helping me adapt to the car over the winter and getting into this F4 car and, being quick in it like we are now. And I think it was a massive learning curve for sure. Obviously, much bigger car, much bigger tyres, much faster. We've got downforce in F4, whereas we haven't got anything in karting. So karting's very, very raw. The racecraft, you can hit people, you can, although it's a non-contact sport, a bit of podding side by side is inevitable, as it's, you've got 36 drivers on some grids, going at it for the win. So, no, I think it's very different, one piece of contact in F4 and that's both of you out of the race. So I think there's been an awful lot of learning to do this year, and we've had some, you might call them silly incidents, but ultimately, you learn from them and take away the positives of weekends and fix the negatives for the next weekend.
Yeah, for sure. That's very interesting. I'd be honest myself, my knowledge of karting isn't massive. I've obviously seen quite a bit of it, but nothing at all like what you were saying. So that is very interesting. Obviously,
we'll have to get us karting at some point then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
I'm always down for a good karting hack. I miss karting so much. Although what I'm doing now is incredible. Karting is just so raw, and so it feels so fast. Like when you're driving a car, you're that far off the ground. Now you're not much further off the ground than an F4 car. You're probably about that far off the ground, but it just feels so raw and so fast because it's so unprotected and unsheltered, if you like.
Yeah, you always seem to see when the Formula One guys get in and have these little karting sessions, they always seem to have a great time, don't they? The competitive edge, you can see the fun comes in a little bit more.
Big time, yeah.
So what I'd like to finish off with then is obviously, already been very successful what you're doing. I'm sure you have massive ambitions. What are your ambitions? What are you looking to achieve within the next few years and down the line?
So next year, short term, is be British F4 champion. We're on a great trajectory this year, and our plan's always been a 2-year plan to come back and win next year. So put a good championship winning campaign together over the winter. That involves a lot of winter testing, me doing an awful lot of training, an awful lot of gym work, an awful lot of running, all that sort of thing. And then coming back and winning F4 next year. Long term, I want to be a Formula One world champion one day. That is my ultimate goal and my dream. And hard work always outweighs talent, in my opinion. And it's, to be fair, I think could almost go as far as to say it's a proven fact. Obviously, don't quote me on that one. Really, that's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, it's great to see you've got that goal there as well. We'll try. Any specific team you'd like to do it with, or does that not matter to you?
I think you want to be in the most competitive car whenever the time is. So, last year you wanted to be in the Red Bull. This year you'd probably want to be in the McLaren. So I think I'm not biased at all in any way. I'd want to be in the most competitive car at the best time for that car.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, Rowan, thank you very much for your time. I want to wish you all the best for the remainder of the season, and of course, going through into the future. I hope to see you succeed with all these ambitions you have. Just good luck, and thank you very much for today.
And thank you so much for your time, James. It's interviews. A lot of drivers don't like them. I don't mind them particularly. I think they're quite enjoyable. Well, maybe not quite enjoyable, but no, it's all part and parcel of becoming a racing driver, isn't it? You've got to learn to like them, because if you do well in future, there's going to be a lot more of them coming in there.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to have many to like.